Fast forward, I wanted to run a business, and honestly, I wanted to make a living doing this. I didn't want to have to get a second job somewhere else. So I wrote a business plan. And the question is, where do you see yourself in 6 months? Where do you see yourself in a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And then the thing about the business plan is write it unconnected to, can I do this? Just write your dreams. And that's what this person said. And I love that. I was like, I'm a good dreamer. I can write my dreams. Oh, I want to make a living. I want to do art shows out in New York. I want to go in the Midwest. Then I want to do art shows all across the country. I hear there's great art shows. I was so green. I didn't know anything. And then I was like, I would love within 15 to 20 years to teach workshops internationally because I want to travel. And I don't think I can afford to travel, my mind.
Yeah.
So if I travel and work and get paid, maybe I can afford to do that. So I was like, that sounds like fun. So I wrote that down on my businesses. And then I think I wrote something else. But anyway, I went out 20 years.
Yeah.
So I filed it away and I lost it.
Oh, wow.
I completely lost the business plan. So about 15 years later, I moved here and I had boxes and I'm a saver. And I'm going to throw this box out. I should look in it first.
Yeah.
I look in the box, and right on top is my business plan. Now, I'm in the business 20 years. And I sat and I read this business plan. And you know what? I did every single thing I had written down. I did local shows. I was making a living. Regional, then I went nationwide. And then at some point, I wanted to teach internationally. And I wanted to teach at Mel Meridiana International School of Ceramics. So I introduced myself to them. Where I had the brazenness to do that, but I teach these workshops. I have been teaching workshops nationally, and lo and behold, I sent them a proposal. They sent me a contract. I started teaching in Italy, so I taught in Italy every year for 9 years.
Every fruit on the tree started out with a seed. So dare to believe the impossible is possible. And so your deepest dream, grow your truest dream, bloom your freest dream with me.
Welcome to the Artist Bridge to Abundance podcast. I'm your host, Michele Renee Stone. And today we're talking with Brenda McMahon in Brenda McMahon's gallery. Hi, Brenda.
Hello, Michele. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for asking me to be interviewed. I appreciate that.
I'm thrilled that you're here, and I'm looking forward to having you share all of your experience with us.
Good. I have a lot of thoughts and ideas.
Perfect. Would you care to start and tell us a little bit about you and your practice?
So I'm a ceramic artist. I've been doing clay full-time for 32 years this year. I was born and raised in New York and found clay when I was upstate in Saratoga Springs. I took a ceramics class at an art center and fell madly in love. And I found my way to how does one make a living as a ceramic artist in this day and age. And I went from doing local art shows at the farmers market to doing regional art shows, taught workshops when things were skinny, taught classes to students when things were skinny, and started expanding my breadth of art shows that I did. Then I would teach workshops internationally, and after 25 years, I found the gallery and opened the gallery, and I've been here for 7. So that's the abbreviated version.
The abbreviated version?
Yeah.
And by the gallery, you mean here in Gulfport, Florida?
Here in Gulfport, Florida, Brenda McMahon Gallery, and I designed it like a fine art show, contemporary craft and fine art. It was really important for me intentionally to mix the media instead of just a fine art gallery. Being a ceramicist, I'm a lover of 3D, and I have 25 years at shows, and I feel like when you have all of that, people that may be shopping for jewelry don't realize they fall in love with a painting or vice versa. So you expose art appreciators to all sorts of things that they wouldn't know they wanted, needed, and loved.
Yeah. Yeah, and to look around your gallery, you can totally tell that you've curated it from that perspective.
Very carefully curated. And one of the thoughts in my curation, again, with all the years of being in the business, I've worked with some of the best artists who are working artists, and I learned a lot and developed a good eye, I think. And so it's important to me to show artists who are really masters in their craft why we work so hard, why we choose a path that's not an easy path, because the dedication to craft, be it the craft of painting, the craft of book carving or ceramics, that's about the 10,000 hours plus in the studio. So most of my artists have anywhere from 15 years as a professional artist. My longest term artist is 52 years in the studio, and she's in her 80s, and she's magnificent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about too, so I don't think, wow.
Yeah.
And so your journey with the pottery started off in the studio. You veered a little bit and moved into like raku and then eventually solder pottery.
Yeah, so every beginner student goes to a 10-week class and they learn how to hand build and pinch pots and hand build and throw, and I liked all of it. And then I got to the wheel. It was the first night of the wheel, and it was like the sky opened up and a bolt of light went through my head, and I thought, I want to do this for a living. And I had just taken the class because I was in upstate New York. I was a broadcast journalist for 10 years. I quit my job. I was working at a deli, and I was like, I need something that makes me feel alive. And I'd always wanted to take a pottery class. It was as simple as that. I took a pottery class, and the sky opened up, and I thought, I want to be a potter. And my teacher, as I was at the wheel, she said, so how long have you been throwing? And I looked at her, and I said, 10 minutes? And she goes, you haven't sat at the wheel before? And I said, nope. And she goes, oh, you're a natural. And I didn't know that, but I felt like I found home. And it felt natural to me. And so of the two, I gravitated toward throwing. And she also, in that same class, we were glazing, and I was like, this is okay. I wasn't a fan of glazing. Right. And we did a primitive fire. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. So I actually started off doing vessels and doing a primitive pit fire, blacks and whites. And then as I gravitated out of there, I started experimenting, and I lived on a 6-acre farm, so I could make fires next to the cow pasture. Nobody bothered me, so I made lots of fires. And I was experimenting, and that's when I found this process, which is not raku, it's sagar firing, which is a derivative of a pit fire process in a gas kiln. And I've been doing that for 32 years, really. I've been doing it from the very beginning. And I found at a certain point, I can make a living doing this sort of contemplative, meditative, quiet body of work. For some reason, there was just enough people to support me. It wasn't huge, but it was enough to support me.
Well, and when you're first starting off, those few people that support you, just it's almost like the fire behind the engine that just helps catapult you forward.
Absolutely. They see something in you that you don't see in yourself, but you feel in your body. And so their recognition and their support, and I've had people years and years later say, I always knew you had something. And they just felt it. And thank you to our collectors and our appreciators and people that lift us up in our early years to give us fortitude to go through all those, really 15 years of very little money making, just paying the bills kind of thing. And you have to really be committed to move through that. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can take myself out to dinner and not stress out. And your economy starts loosening up as you've learned how to run a business, talk to clients, teach workshops, all the things that we learn to make a living, really.
So let's dive into that a little bit more about the making a living part, because you said that you had these times of just moving through and teaching and creating workshops and all of that into making a living, and now you have this gallery. So was there a business plan that you started putting together, or how did that come about?
So this is such a great story. I started before the internet. I had a manual typewriter. Ching, 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 ching. I was in the newsroom, so I was a really good typist. And I read an article that said every emerging artist should write a business plan. And I'm a good student. If somebody tells me what to do, I'll do it. Yeah. And so when I was throwing, they said, if you make a bowl, make 20, pick 7 of your favorite and recycle the rest. So I did that all the time. So you make the best bowl you can make. fast forward, I wanted to run a business, and honestly, I wanted to make a living doing this. I didn't want to have to get a second job somewhere else. So I wrote a business plan. And the question is, where do you see yourself in 6 months? Where do you see yourself in a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And then the thing about the business plan is write it unconnected to, can I do this? Just write your dreams. And that's what this person said. And I love that. I was like, I'm a good dreamer. I can write my dreams. Oh, you know, I want to make a living. I want to do art shows out in New York. I want to go in the Midwest. Then I want to do art shows all across the country. I hear there's great art shows. I was so green. I didn't know anything. And then I was like, I would love within 15 to 20 years to teach workshops internationally because I want to travel. And I don't think I can afford to travel, my mind.
Yeah.
So if I travel and work and get paid, maybe I can afford to do that. So I said, that sounds like fun. So I wrote that down on my businesses. And then I think I wrote something else. But anyway, I went out 20 years.
Yeah.
So I filed it away and I lost it.
Oh, wow.
I completely
lost it.
I completely lost the business plan. So about 15 years later, I moved here and I had boxes and I'm a saver. And I'm going to throw this box out. I should look in it first.
Yeah.
I look in the box, and right on top is my business plan. Now, I'm in the business 20 years. And I sat and I read this business plan. And you know what? I did every single thing I had written down. I did local shows. I was making a living. Regional, then I went nationwide. And then at some point, I had wanted to teach internationally. And I wanted to teach at Mount Meridiana International School of Ceramics. So I introduced myself to them. Where I had the brazenness to do that, but I teach these workshops. I have been teaching workshops nationally, and lo and behold, I sent them a proposal. They sent me a contract. I started teaching in Italy, so I taught in Italy every other year for 9 years.
Wow.
So this was after I was teaching in Italy, and I sat down and I go, oh my God, it came true. Mm-hmm. What I learned about a business plan is our mental mind is going to stop us because we don't think we're good enough. We don't think this. Turn the mental mind off, right from the place of dream and belief and hope and joy, and then close it, put it away. And then when I found it, I was amazed. I did every single thing because I think I set the intention, and the universe was my co-conspirator.
Absolutely. Wow. That's an incredible story. And thank you for sharing that.
It's a good story.
It is a good story. And there's times that I've seen that in other people doing other things. And the fact that you were so intentional about putting it all down.
Yeah. Well, that was the assignment. Honestly, it wasn't like me being smart. They said, write everything. Don't hold back. Write 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Write it out. Write out your life.
Yeah.
As you would like to see it from today.
Yeah.
And as we all know, we all make plans and then life happens.
Right.
But it made me think, well, what do I want? What is important to me? How do I want to live my life? I mean, I was a professional in a very good job as a broadcast journalist. I got paid well. It was like a she job. It was hard, but, so I already did that. And here I am, like, living on a farm, making pots, returning my 5-cent beer can so I could get some groceries. New York, I was so poor. My mother was like, and you left journalism for this? And I go, I know I'm poor, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I was happy. So there you go. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible, especially when you put it out on paper.
Yes, I'm a big believer of that.
Yeah.
Throughout my life, write it down. And also tell people, if you tell your dream to someone, they hold you accountable in a beautiful way because they'll be like, how's that going? You said you wanted to teach international workshops. Have you applied to any? And then you're like, actually, I think I'll go home
And also want that.
Yeah. Because we all don't think we're good enough on some level.
Right.
And because you don't know that about me, I don't know that about you. And so when we share, when we write it down, we set an intention to the universe. And when we share with others, we share with people who are safe. Just like the customers, people will support your dream. And by sharing it and vocalizing it, it will help make it happen.
And word of mouth is also the best form of advertisement.
Yes,
too.
it is.
So by you sharing it with those safe people, they also held that intention for you and they put that into the universe and that continued to support you as well.
Absolutely. There is an energy field that is undeniably a part of our lives, and woo-woo or not, we are emotional, physical, mental beings, but we are also vibrational beings.
Yeah.
And the energy in the room, we know it when we're with friends or lovers or community. That vibration works on our behalf to make us succeed, help us succeed. We just have to be collaborators with that by acknowledging it.
Yeah. So much of my life has actually been that too. Moving from upstate New York down to Florida, just knowing that something needed to happen, because my little small town there wasn't a lot there.
Yeah.
And so then what else is out in the world? And yeah.
I love that. What else is possible? It's the best question to ask yourself, because our viewfinder could be like this, and we go, what else is possible? Let's say you don't want to do art shows. What else is possible? I always thought, in terms of making a living as an artist, I was always a basket believer, that my economy would be made up of a bunch of different baskets of revenue,
Right.
so that if any one fell short, the other would hold me. So when there's a recession and people aren't buying art, they teach workshops.
Right.
During COVID, the whole world shut down. I still had to pay my rent. So I just organized workshops, masks 6 feet apart, and wine. And it got me through 2 years of paying my rent, and people loved it. And so you create joy, and so what else is possible? What else can I do if I don't want to do that, or if this isn't working? Instead of resisting and pushing,
Yeah.
I very much respond to what is, and I go, okay, well, what else? What else am I supposed to do? Maybe that's the universe directing me in another way,
Right.
and then try that.
And so what do you say to, we were talking off camera about sometimes people with the different economies, if it's a print economy or it's a this economy or that economy, what we think about, we bring about, right?
Yeah.
And so the thought process from your perspective has always been anything is possible, everything is possible, it's whatever I put out there.
Yeah. And where that is a cute little catchphrase on a bumper sticker, and people go, yeah, but. The truth is, the yeah, but part is, it takes a while to understand what that means. And so I've always done my art and my business coincide with my deep inner work. And so what I do is I find, where is my resistance? What am I resisting that's inhibiting me from being more successful? And early on, my resistance was selling. I hated selling. And I was like, okay, this isn't working for me because I'm not selling. So I was like, I have to change that thought.
Yeah.
Why do I hate selling? What is that about? What am I afraid of? What brings me anxiety? And so I did this deep work, and I found out something remarkable that transformed my selling life, which is, in selling, I thought I was taking money from people. I don't like taking money from people. I don't like
Yeah, it
doing
feels,
that. It feels weird.
right.
So I reframed it, and I was talking to a friend who said, as an artist, you're presenting and you're offering a service, and you're developing a relationship with someone who has clearly, they've come into your space and they want art. You're just trying to help them find what they want. So you're a relationship builder and providing a service, and that exchange is money. And money, in my mind, is an exchange of love. I make this work from this place of love and devotion. You come in, you respond from a place of love and devotion. You're going to take your hard-earned money to buy that and pay me for it. And I've put my love and attention in that. It's this beautiful exchange of energy and love that happens to come in the form of dollar bills. And so when I was able to transform my thinking about selling, I was like, I like people.
Yeah.
I like talking to people. So I'm going to go to art shows and I'm just going to talk to people, and I'm going to be receptive, and I'm going to stop thinking, oh God, I have to pay that utility bill, because that's where my head was. I was anxious. I need money to pay the bills. And so I just said, you're okay. Just talk to the people. And when I let that go quiet, the money started flowing. It was remarkable. But that took deep inner work. It's not just a phrase, it's an understanding.
Yeah.
It's an understanding. And everybody has a very strange relationship with money. Everybody, from people that have it to people that don't. And you have to find out what's your relationship to money that inhibits you if you're in that space of being inhibited. And then, is it a print economy? Is it an original? How do you mix up the bag so that you can get everything? Because for some people, it'll never be a print economy. They want originals. Right. Maybe they'll buy fewer over the course of time. Right. But for others, it's a print economy. Have prints. That's good. Those are easy.
You just made me have a whole body breath. that whole conversation about, because you're right, like people have completely different perspectives on money. It doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum of the amount of income that you bring in. And some of it is handed down. Think about it, we went through the Great Depression in the 20s and 30s. My grandparents were part of that, and so I know that some of their stuff.
You picked that up. It's vibration. Your parents picked it up, and you pick it up.
Yeah, and so like reworking those thoughts and those philosophies so that you can, because as a curator, every time you change the artwork in the room, the whole energy changes, right? The vibe, the whole, and depending if you have a themed show versus if you don't have a themed show, like it all really resonates at a different vibrational level.
That's right.
And so that proof goes to show that artists put their heart, their energy, their blood, their sweat, and tears, all the things into their artwork. Like all of these pieces behind us are yours.
Yeah.
And it's extraordinary.
And if they're not selling, whether you're in a booth or in a gallery or at an art in the yard or a studio tour, move things around. I mean, literally, just change the energy in the room. We like to change our clothes every day. If we wore the same clothes every day, our energy would probably, you just shift it around. Everything is energy. And I move stuff around. Even when I did art show, I had a 10 by 10 gallery.
Yeah.
Every art show, I set things up differently. So people said, I've seen you before, but I haven't seen this. Because before it was on that wall and now it's on this wall. Yeah. I would test things, put the inexpensive work up front, tell people things are affordable in here. And they'd walk in, oh, I can afford that. And then they come out and you go, oh, but I really want that.
Right.
And so there's ways we communicate and there's ways we can shift what we're perceiving into how we make a living, how we put it together, how we sell our art. You can do it anywhere.
Yeah. It
doesn't have to be in the gallery. I have after 25 years, I opened the gallery, and now I have this beautiful space where I have 25 artists that I represent. And I've got 7 jewelers, 7 or 8 painters. I got 3 or 4 sculptors. I have 3 glass artists. I have 2 ceramicists. It's like everything gets to be moved around. And people come in all the time like, oh, you have to do work. I go, no, but yes. And sometimes I do because I do sell well, but also sometimes it's just, oh, this thing's been sitting around forever. It's beautiful. I don't know why it's not selling. Let me try it on this wall. Let me try it on that wall. Right. Somebody comes in and says, that's my piece.
Absolutely. Well, and when you walk into a venue, like there's different patterns too. Yes. So when you walk in the door that's on the other side of this wall, you can go straight or you can go to the left. Yeah. And then you come in a couple of feet and you can turn to the right, or you can go forward, and then there's like different ways, plenty of different little pockets that you can quickly.
And actually, a good friend of mine who was very good at merchandising, who did stores, told me, you do not want somebody to walk into, whether it's your booth or your studio or whatever, in my case, your gallery, and be able to see everything when they walk in the door. You want walls, you want to create a path, you want to hold it in and come around here and go into La Petite Gallery. We have this beautiful under $100 gallery. Right. My philosophy has always been, I always wanted work for everyone. So I've always had lower priced items. Right. Because people feel good. And then you help young collectors begin collecting. And then you have your more established collectors or people that are at that age, that stage where they go, oh, I'm ready to commit a little bit more. And so you're pulling people in. It is it's a maze and it's so fun. It's really fun. I like it.
It feels like there's a little bit of feng shui that kind of goes along with it too. So like all of that whole energy exchange. Yeah. It's just extraordinary.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it, for sure.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners? You have just given us so many beautiful nuggets.
Yeah, those are all the business and how to make a living. And sometimes I get asked about, I'm very, very busy. So I'm open 7 days a week. I have a lot of months and months of commissions lined up. I I run the business, I coordinate the shows, all of that. And so for me, one of the biggest challenges at this stage in my career, 32 years, is finding the space to be creative and tapping into new sort of avenues of creativity. And so there's two things. I am rigorous about my studio days. So I tell my staff, Wednesday, Thursday, and I need 2 days in a row for ceramics, are my studio days. So I'm sacred. Do not call me unless you have to talk to me. And if you have to talk to me, you call me, no problem. But only if you need to. And I don't answer the phone unless I think it's a client or a business thing, but I try to keep my studio days sacred. And so a lot of people say they have a hard time structuring their time. And my studio days, I have my morning coffee and I ease into it. I'm not rushed, whereas a lot of other times I'm rushed. So it's my time. So there's that for creating structure. And for me, the other thing is I started doing ceramic residencies overseas.
Yeah.
And for 6 weeks, I go, nobody knows me. They don't know my work. They don't know a thing about me. I'm anonymous, and I go there and I do something I'm not doing at home. I explore something I've been thinking about in my mind, or I've been inspired by, or as I travel through. 2 years ago, I went to France,
Right.
the south of France. As I travel through, you go to museums, you go to art shows, you go to galleries, and then it's like, oh, this is what I want to do. And so that's been a really exciting for this next phase for me.
Right.
An exciting place to find a residency. I like to travel overseas, but I'm going to do them here as well, and they're all over the place, where it's a sacred space, and you're with other creatives, and it's a commitment to yourself, and it's a gift to yourself to do it, if and when you can. So those would be the two things I would recommend.
Fantastic. So this has been such an incredible conversation.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, gifting yourself back in ways that like feed your soul. As artists, we put so much out there, and we come from such a space of creativity that it's important for us to like really kind of, I call it kneading the dough. You put yourself out, and then you have to come back in. Put yourself out and come back in.
That's a nice metaphor.
Yeah.
I like that. And sometimes it's small things like the exhibit that just opened at the MFA or something like that.
Yeah.
And other times it's larger travels. And so I think we all go to art walks and do all that all the time because those are our people. This is what we love. And, you know. But yeah, I like that, kneading the dough and coming back. And I love very out there and then quiet. I mean, I always consider myself a quiet contemplative, even though I may not appear that way, but it's how I replenish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we all need to replenish.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think our last takeaway would be like, how do we stay inspired?
Yeah, how do we stay inspired?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so keep on keeping on. If you get tired of your work, make new work, try different avenues. Friends brought up so many ideas for me. My issue is I don't have that much studio time in the summer. It's my quieter time, so it's like that's my exploration. Garden, eat well, cook well. Yeah, take care of the temple that is you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much, Brenda, for this conversation, for sharing all of these nuggets of wisdom and information and experience with us. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. This is fun. I love sharing it. When I started out, I talked to every artist I knew, how do you do it? And all of a sudden, I find myself in a position where I can tell people my thoughts. They're just my thoughts. But it's nice to give back when I was receiving so much, because everybody has to learn. Everybody has to figure it out. So it's my joy. Thank you.
Welcome. I appreciate it. All right. So thank you ever so much. This is the Artist Bridge to Abundance podcast, and we will see you later. Thank you.
Seed to flower, magic's in your hands. You got the power, so go forth and expand.
I'd like to thank St. Pete Arts Alliance for their individual grant and making this particular podcast and everything that goes along with it possible. I'm so incredibly grateful to you. Are you a working artist looking for your next festival opportunity? You're invited to apply at the 12th Annual Gulfport Fine Arts Festival, happening February 13th and 14th, 2027. Artists in all mediums are encouraged to apply for this juried boutique festival, featuring cash awards, marketing exposure, and direct access to collectors and art enthusiasts. Applications close July 31st. To learn more and apply, go to visitgulfportflorida.com. I'll see you there. If you like the podcast that you just saw, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click the little bell next to it, so then that way you're notified every time we load up another episode. Look forward to seeing you soon.